And impressive offensive display by both teams. First half in Sacramento, big first quarter leads to a 6-point lead for the Kings, 78-72 at the half. Ryan in Sacktown, joined by Jerry Reynolds. Welcome in, Jerry. What first thoughts on the first half there?
Well, if you like offense, you're going to like that half, and I mean really, both teams. I mean the shot making was amazing. Offhand you'd say, well, some poor defense. Well, there was some poor defense, but more realistically, it was just great offense for both teams.
Yeah, the ball moving really well for Sacramento. Keon Ellis in the starting lineup, Jerry, has really injected some energy.
Sure has. I mean, he's one of those guys that, he's been making one of the guys that's been making threes all year on a team that hasn't been, and he defends every night he's in there, and certainly a perfect fit with Fox, I think, and so that's been great. And of course, Trey Lyles. I mean, he's playing like
Excellent.
an all-star here the last few games. I mean, he's shooting the ball with so much confidence, and then another, the rookie Devin Carter. Looks like a player to me.
Yeah,
He's got some scrap to him, and so hey, a lot of good things going on.
Yeah, a lot of good things for the Kings. Again, up 78-72 with a big first quarter, 46 points. Both teams shooting the heck out of the three ball at the G1C. That's who I was going to get to, Jerry, is Devin Carter. Seemed to make a pretty darn good impact there during his short stint, 7 minutes in the first half. What'd you like the most from him?
Well, certainly he really can put ball pressure. I mean, he gets up into guys and works them. You like that from your guard line, a lot like Keon Ellis. He's probably a little more physical, not quite as quick maybe with his hands, but then also on the
Yeah.
boards. I mean, he got some legitimate big boy rebounds. So no reason to believe that he's not going to add a little of what the Kings need.
Absolutely. A special night for Devin. First NBA game. His dad, Anthony Carter, coach for the Memphis Grizzlies. So opposite the sidelines there. Jerry, for a rookie like Devin, which side of the floor is harder to make an impact on when you come into the NBA?
Well, that's a great question. I think generally it's defense because most of the guys that come to the league that are rookies that are drafted pretty high, they're drafted there because of their offense, and so they've always been able to score. But then all of a sudden they get thrown out
Yeah.
there against other great scorers, and a lot of times that's what keeps them from staying in the league.
Absolutely. And speaking of rookies, don't say Sacramento doesn't grow talent. How about Jaylen Wells lighting it up for the Grizzlies, Jerry?
Yeah, he is really a nice player, and of course, Taylor Jenkins. I mean, he does as good a job coaching as about anybody, but he fits. Jalen really is really got a lot of total basketball player in him, and so he really fits this system with the ball movement that they have. Yeah, they've got a good one.
They do have a good one. Thank you for the super chat, Jose. Only complain. Kevin getting too many minutes. Your response, Jerry?
Well, the way he's playing probably is. He's going to have to play a little bit better. I think that's a fact. So that's the one thing with Carter, or however, I think Coach Christie's got a lot more options, or at least one more option than he had. And when Keegan comes back, they'll have two more. So minutes are going to be probably a little harder to come by, but then again, it's a good problem to have. You got a lot of nice depth.
Absolutely. A fairly clean half overall for the Kings. You look at the assist to turnover ratio, 21 assists to only 3 turnovers. Jerry, do you see that heading into the second half for them?
Well, I hope so, but I mean, realistically, that's almost too much to replicate. I mean, but I think the ball movement's there, the spacing's there. I just loved how they, after being scored on, their transition offense was spectacular. Pretty much like we saw a couple of years ago in that first year of the turnaround when they won 48. I mean, they were getting down the floor so fast, and we hadn't seen that all year, but we're seeing it tonight.
Yeah, we are seeing it tonight. The free throw line, the Kings only get there 7 times. Memphis gets there 14. Jerry, what can you do to get to the free throw line with a guy like Zach Edey in the middle of the court?
Well, you still got to go at him and make him play. I mean, he's going to get some blocks, but he'll foul too right now. I mean, I think he's a nice nice developmental rookie to have with a lot of size and some skill. But the Kings are making their threes so well that they're just really not challenging inside very much, and that includes even Domas, who's made three threes.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're making 55% or whatever it is of your threes. You're probably not going to get as many fouls.
Absolutely. Mike, thank you very much as well for the super chat. We really appreciate it. Don't forget, we will be here after the game taking your calls, breaking down this one. The Kings look to go on a 3-game winning streak tonight and get another game closer to 500. Jerry, what are some of your keys for this second half?
Well, I think really as much as anything, you've really got to tighten the defense. I think this team is going to score a lot, but I don't think you want to have to count on scoring 150 to win. So basically, take some of their perimeter game away and force them to play off the dribble a little bit more. I think they're getting too many spot shots, and for the Kings, I think, again, just continue to really push the ball. I did like the Kings zone. They did zone there a little bit. Now they gave up some threes, which will, but I thought it kept Jaren Jackson out of the paint a little more with the zone. So that's something we might see. So, hey, more of the same, just basically try to tighten the defense a little bit and as much as anything and go get 140 to win, I guess.
Yeah, 140. Think about that. 78 at the half for the Kings, 72 for the Memphis Grizzlies. Something needs to give. It seems like, Jerry, it's going to be a battle of the wills. Can the Kings, as you said, keep the pace up, or can Memphis get them to play in the half court? Because if they get the Kings to play in the half court, I think that does benefit the Grizzlies.
I do too, and the Grizzlies are a thinner team. They've got a few more injuries than do the Kings, so I think they would much rather to play more half court. And of course, the Kings really are just so much better in transition. So you hit it as much as you can force the action, even after made baskets, which I thought was a real key there in the first. Even after made baskets, get out in transition and create the numbers. The Kings are a faster, more athletic
Yeah, it's
team.
a great point. Doug Christie has talked a lot about simplifying the game. You and I talked about this a couple days ago. How would you explain what you saw in the first half in terms of simplification of the game that the Kings are executing right now?
Yeah, well, I think as much as anything, it's just forcing the pace. With like we said, the transition where you're really pushing the ball up after made baskets. Well, now all of a sudden the game is simpler because you're not having to run against a half-court defense. I think that. I also think with what Coach Christie's trying to do is really not as much in the dribble handoffs as it's not that they're not doing it, but really just a little more ball movement, getting into the middle, kicking it out, forcing the Grizzlies to have to run at the shooters, and so a little bit of breakdown. So just game's simple if you do it well, and right now the Kings are doing it well.
Yeah, it's a great point, and also denying on defense. That's not something we've seen a lot of this season, Jerry.
No, we haven't. I think with Keon Ellison and, of course, both Monk and especially De'Aaron and now Carter, those guys can put pressure on the ball. And that's where it starts. If you want to put pressure on the ball, it's got to be with the guards. And we're seeing that now. To Memphis's credit, I mean, they're moving the ball away from the pressure pretty well. And that's just a well-coached team. But more of the same, get into the dribblers, really pressure. Don't make the easy guard wing pass. Make it tough. If you can do that, that's about all you can do.
Yeah, amen. I agree with that 100%. So give us your final scores in the chat. Let us know which way you think this one's going to go. That play by Devin Carter, where he got the rebound and he was crashing hard. He took it coast to coast, made a great pass. That just gives this team a different element, if that's something we see consistently in terms of the pace that you're talking about.
Well, I think so. I think that, he and, like I say, when you've got certainly three guards that are really outstanding defender, it looks like Carter is along with De'Aaron and Ellis, and Monk is not an outstanding defender, but he gives outstanding effort.
Yeah.
And so I think when you can just put a lot of pressure on ball handlers for 48 minutes, it gives you a lot better chance to win. And hopefully that's what we're going to see. I mean, we saw it, so far. Hey, this team's unbeaten in 25. That's all I know.
I love that. That's a great point. All right, Jerry, it's that time. Final score. Which way are you going?
139, 130.
139, 130 Kings. I think the Kings win this one as well. Scoring slows down a little bit. I'm going to say 134 to 131. Jerry, thank you so much for joining us here at the half. Greatly appreciate it, my friend.
Well, always enjoyable, especially when the Kings are playing like this. Hey, fun basketball.
I could get used to watching basketball like this. I sure as heck could.
I want to get used to it, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm ready to get used to it.
Absolutely. That is Jerry Reynolds. Thank you so much again, Jerry. We will see you next game. All right.
Take care,
Jerry
Ron.
Reynolds joining us here at halftime. Levitt, let's get some of your scores up really quick. Everyone's worst nightmare. Ooh, everyone's worst nightmare. 115, 108, low scoring. Okay. Greg says 134, 127. O'Brien, 138, 130. Andrew, keep them coming. 118, 116, 121, 95. You've got the Kings holding the Grizzlies to 23 points in the second half. All right, Mark. We'll see. Bold prediction. I like them. Kings 142, 133. Grant is not at the game in the nosebleeds. He has a much deserved night off tonight. So I will be taking you home. We've got the post-game show coming up right after the game. We'll talk much more about Devin Carter's first game. We'll talk about hopefully the beam being lit in what is next for this team. Will it be 3 in a row? They've got to slow down Jaylen Wells. Jaylen Wells killing the Kings right now on the offensive end. But again, overall, a very clean half for Sacramento on offense. As Jerry said, can they keep the pace up? Hope you have a great second half. We're sending you back out. See you right back here on If You Don't Like That for the post-game show, taking your calls and breaking this one down further. Have a great second half, everybody. So long.